All right, welcome to the first episode of Pretty Please. My name is Ashley.
And my name is Samar.
And we are your co-hosts of the Pretty Please show. And we're so excited for this to finally start. We've been talking about it for a while. Yeah. But the idea first came for the name, kind of, Pretty Please, of basically this like race to, you know, become the best version of yourself, to become quote unquote pretty, which I think, as we talked about, like has so many different meanings for so many different people. Yeah. We're both in the beauty industry, which we'll get into a little bit more later on, obviously, but we get to be around a lot of people who are like experts in their field, really cool entrepreneurs, businesswomen, women who are just like overall well-rounded, have so many things going on in their life, and they're somehow like balancing all of that with the fact that they want to be you know, pretty. We'll just put a word on it. And that word we kind of picked is pretty because it's just such a general word. Yeah. And it can mean so many different things. So I think there's so much to unpack there. So we're going to bring you so many great episodes. But first, a little bit about yourself, Samar. Tell us.
Yeah. So I've actually been in the aesthetics field for over 8 years now. I'm originally from Canada. And, you know, if you asked me when I was a little kid, like, if I ever saw myself in this industry, I would tell you, no, what do you mean? I was all about sports. I was such a tomboy growing up. And it's so interesting now because it's like complete 180. Like once I got towards like middle to end of high school, I became like such a girly girl. So I went from like athletic wear and like hair up always with headbands, running and playing soccer and flag football and basketball. And now I'm like obsessed with like the beauty industry.
That's interesting. I need to see pictures, by the way, of this. Like, I want to see like your soccer uniform, no makeup, hair slicked back.
No, I was like in it, and I like my whole life revolved around like, you know, the next sport and practice and this and that, and my parents would like take me around. So yeah, to be in this industry now, especially for the last 8 years, and just seeing how much has changed since then. You know, as you know, things are always evolving. New treatments are emerging. All of those things. So it's a really cool industry to be in because not only are you making people feel good about themselves, but you're also witnessing like literally like the evolution of what, you know, taking care of yourself really means to people, whether that's from the inside and outside. Exactly. So I think it's definitely been a journey. So thinking back like 8 years ago when I first started versus now, like the amount of things that have changed and new treatments and services that have emerged, and, you know, going back to that like self-care movement and what we're really seeing on social media these days of like taking not only care of yourself on the outside, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, the journaling, the, you know, the affirmations and all of those things.
It's like never ending. Like you see a new thing every day, and I think it's inspiring. It's really cool to see. But then the other end of it is that like it can be overwhelming. It's for sure.
Lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And like it's so cool to know that, you know, on this journey and throughout like my career, I've met so many different people, like medical professionals, you know, amazing business owners, like we mentioned, and just like everyday people who like, you know, have a family and are just trying to balance their careers and things like that. So I'm really excited about this show that we're going to be able to kind of like unpack everything and, you know, really meet like so many different people from all walks of life and really like diving deep into what that all means to them, how they do it all, and like their favorite treatments and things that they like to do to make themselves feel good, whether that's from the outside in. I know a lot of people think that like, you know, being in the beauty industry, especially for this long, they're like, oh my God, well, how do you not get consumed by like, you know, wanting to do all these treatments and all these things? And to be honest, like at first, when I first got started, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like there's so many different things like I want to do and this and that. And then as like time goes on, I began to find like what my favorite things are and like learning not to overdo it. And like there's certain,
that's a big one.
Learning not to overdo, especially when you have like access and like you're so close to it and you're living in it every day in and day out. I mean, you work more than you are at home. So, I like definitely want to dive into all of that because like people ask me all the time, like, how are you not doing X, Y, and Z all the time? Like it's like a kid in a candy store almost, you know what I mean? So, definitely like learning to like balance that out as well. So like, you know, you're still natural, you're not doing too much, but you're still also keeping up with the times and like the trends that are happening online and, you know, how it's affecting you and benefiting you and things like that.
Yeah, it's like good to take a step back and pause and just like unpack everything, because it is coming at you like really fast all the time. It is. You think about the fact that we're both in the beauty industry, so we're surrounded by it every day.
Yeah.
We work in a marketing capacity, so we're like always trying to market to others.
Yeah.
So we're spending extra amount of time on social media through work, which a lot of people are now too.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like, how do you have a business without social media nowadays? You just can't.
Yeah.
And then you go home and you're on social media even more, like
scrolling.
Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, scrolling at night. So it's like, you're trying to stay relevant and you're trying to like, you know, be on the in with everything. But I have to say, it doesn't surprise me that you like were in sports your whole life, by the way, because you are totally like a high energy, like go-getter type of personality. Like working with you so far has been like, you know, working with a lot of women has been like really cool for me, but working with you has been like really like motivating. Like you are just like, you're high energy, you show up, you're like, let's get it done, let's do it. Like and I think you have to be, again, in this industry, it is competitive. It is
very
fast paced,
especially in South Florida.
There's
like aesthetics treatments on every corner,
for sure. You're juggling a lot. Like when you talk about clients that come through the MedSpa, all of your providers that you take care of, make sure they have what they need, that they feel supported, that they have the training that they need. That is a job that you have to wear like so many different hats. So you have to be like, you have to be a go-getter. You have to wake up and be like, I'm ready for whatever the day is going to give me, and I'm just going to like bulldoze through it and make it happen.
Exactly.
This is like not for the faint of heart, this industry. Like,
not at all.
You cannot be like a sensitive Sally or like a, you know, just like low energy person, because I think like no 2 days are the same.
And I think you have to remember also too that these are like elective treatments that people are doing, not because they have to, but because they want to. So that adds like a whole nother layer of like expectations and, you know, results and this and that. So really having to like cater to those needs of like, I'm doing this because I want to, not because it's like I need it. It's like a totally different like layer added to it.
It's so true. It's like concierge. Like you have to be on your game. 5-star, white glove service all the time. The spa has to be clean. The treatments have to be well done. You really have to, and you should cater to your clientele. And that's like a whole nother, that's so interesting. We should talk about that later. About like what that really means, because that can really overlap into a lot of different businesses, obviously. I think, today things, not only the med spa industry, but so many industries are competitive. I meet so many women who are our age, like in their like young 30s, and they're trying to like start something of their own. And that is totally like a good topic. Like one of the main things is, how do you stand out like in your field? You know, like how do you hit the ground running?
Of course.
And who you're about to, you know, meet later in the episode, Maite, she can expand on that too, because it's like, how do you start off as like a young, you know, injector in your field, and how do you like hit the ground running and make a good impression with your clients
and make a name for yourself that people like love, care, and trust, and
who have probably
supported.
Already been to 10 other med spas before. We're in South Florida. Nobody's like new to this stuff.
How do you gain them?
Exactly. For sure, and get them to stay with you.
But tell me a little bit about you, because I feel like you're like the girliest girl ever, and I want to like dive into more into that.
I am, like, honestly, I have been that way my whole life. There's like a story in my family that's like a joke about me. Like when I was going to meet my younger sister, who was just born at the hospital, I was like 4 years old, and my dad was like making fun of me because I was like making him late because I was like doing my makeup, like my fake makeup, like at home, and I like wasn't ready yet.
Leave a good impression on the newborn.
Exactly. I was like trying to look good for the hospital, I guess, but I was like, no, I need to like pick out my outfit. I've always been like that, and for me, that's never changed. I just think like fashion and really everything to do with like women health, wellness, beauty, all of it. I love all of it. I can't get enough of it. My dream job probably when I was little was like to work at like Vogue, like fashion, like Devil Wears Prada, like style. I had like magazines I would like cut out and make like, did you ever do that like on your wall? It's like such a 90s thing. But that was like such a fun time. And I ended up going to school at Ohio State. I'm from Ohio. And I ended up going to law school. But my whole life I've been a dancer. So I'm a dancer at heart. I'm a dance girl. I did competition dance. There's like glitter everywhere, like rhinestones, like
see that.
All the girliest things for sure. So I've always been surrounded with, like women who like they take care of themselves. Yeah. Even at a young age, like you're taught like this is how you look presentable. This is how you take care of yourself. This is how you are confident, like dancing in front of a lot of people. Yeah. Which when I look back on it, I think that was like super important. I think that helped me a lot. Yeah. Like kind of get out of my shell and be confident for like the next things that were to come in my life. Mm-hmm. I ended up dancing in college at Ohio State, and then I danced professionally for Disney for like a year, which was really cool. And then I went to law school. And like, I
feel like that's a complete like 180.
It was totally a 180 for me. I've always been, really like studious and about school, but that just was a time in my life looking back where maybe for about a 5-year period, I kind of like let go just because I didn't have like time for anything else.
Of
like
course,
I was literally just like, trying to survive, trying to get by. Like everything was about your career and school, and it was an amazing time for me to like challenge myself, like, mentally and professionally. But I definitely got away from a lot of like the like girly girl stuff, so to speak.
So what pulled you back?
I was like fish out of water. Yeah. Like I was a prosecutor for like about almost 4 years. And then I like during COVID, honestly, which I feel like a lot of people have this like same story. I hear it over and over again.
That epiphany, like, what am I going to do next?
Yeah. When you're like spending so much time at home and you actually stop and you have a second to think about like, how am I spending my day? What is the rest of my life going to look like?
Yeah. What now?
Yeah. Like in your young 30s is like a really pivotal time for girls. Especially I think. So I was like, you know what, why don't I just start something kind of creative that's like fun for me? So I started an online boutique and I was like getting into fashion again. And then from that, I opened a physical store. Yeah. And like one thing led to the next. And next thing I knew, I had my own boutique, my own brand, like coming up with everything from scratch. Like the logo, the whole look of it, what kind of clothes are we going to do? What are the photo shoots going to look like? Yeah. And then I was like going to all these events with all these women, like fashion shows and like charity events. And it was so fun. Yeah. Like it didn't feel like work. I was like, am I working right now or what am I doing? Like I'm building a brand. Yeah. So I loved that, and I ended up selling the boutique. Mm-hmm. So I'm full like MedSpa industry now. Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of what led you into the MedSpa
for
space.
Sure.
Like I feel like if you didn't have that like transitional period during COVID with the boutique, I feel like who knows if you would have been here.
No, for sure. Like I think I was like, you know what, I'm meant to be like in this space in some capacity. How can I take everything, like it's like a stepping stone. Yeah. How can I take everything that I've learned so far, like marketing, branding, networking, how can I take all these skills and kind of like the confidence that I've built in the past couple years through doing that. Yeah. And by the way, if you ever just like switch it up and like choose to do something different, even if it's like a side hustle, I think it's like so important to do because you do gain a level of confidence. You're like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. Like this is not like, I would be out and people would be like, how did you do that? Why? It doesn't make sense to them. But I'm like, it's all just a career path. You're just growing and learning.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's important to also like take leaps of faith too. Like even if a lot of people think they need to be experts in whatever it is that they do or like whatever it is that they're getting into, and that's not the case at all. Like you learn as you go. I'm sure within this past like even just this short period of time, you've learned so much, you know? Even for me being in this space for 8 years, like things are constantly evolving, things are changing, techniques, all these different things. So it's every day you're learning something new, and there's no like expert, or you don't need to be an expert in whatever field it is that you're getting into in order to, thrive essentially.
Totally. And you realize that, right? Yeah. Like the more you grow, and I think the more you throw yourself out there and you take those risks, like you said, I love how you call it like a leap of faith, because like it truly is. It's scary. It's not like, always a great day when you're like starting your own thing. Like it is scary, and it's a lot of hard work, but it's worth it. I think it's super self-fulfilling. You just learn so much that you don't learn in school. Yeah. When you dive into the real world of kind of creating something on your own or like learning something new.
Yeah. And I think also too, we're just so used to seeing like our like parents and elders, like they were so used to like being in one place and working at that place for 40 plus years, 30 plus years. Life. Yeah. So like we grew up seeing that. So now that like, you know, in the age of social media where now we're exposed to so many different things, you know, you realize that like this doesn't need to be the end all be all, whatever it is that you're doing. And like, you know, I can make a change and I can do different things, and it kind of like fuels you in that sense. And like you open your eyes and you're like, wow, there's so much more out there than I thought there was. And I grew up watching, you know, parents or grandparents working at the same job like for X amount of years and never changing. And I feel like it's also because, you know, they didn't have social media in their time. They didn't know that, you know, like there's so many endless opportunities and there's so many different things that we can be doing, and it doesn't always need to be the same cookie cutter thing every single day. And I think that like a lot more people are realizing now that, hey, I can get up and switch it up whenever I want. I'm not bound to anything. I can try anything, and if it doesn't work, great, on to the next thing until I figure out what it is that I want to do and what my purpose is. Or just like have a little side hustles going on, do something for fun. Like we have met so many women like that. That's what kind of sparked this podcast, a big part of it, that we are like literally how many conversations after that we're like, I met this girl, she's so cool, she does this and this, she started this like walking group or this social group, all just for fun, and it turned into a thing, and it actually ended up turning into a business, which is awesome. You know, I think that that's kind of what's cool about being in this industry is we're meeting women who I guess the glue that kind of is like sticking us all together is like the beauty and wellness. But we're all doing our own thing in our own lives. Yes, exactly. And we're all kind of like hustling and growing and like learning from each other. So that's where social media really helps us have like those communities and stuff, like create those like meetup groups and whatnot. And it's cool. I like being in, you know, in business and in a marketing capacity because of what it leads you to. And the relationships that you end up making. That's been really such a cool part. So we'll definitely have like those people on this show for sure to like dive deeper into how they got to where they got to and what they're doing in their life, and then how they're balancing it all with you know, back to Pretty Please, like how are you balancing it in your life with feeling your best, not feeling like burnt out or overworked or like you're not feeling the best version of yourself if you're not taking care of yourself because you're too focused on other things. Exactly. You got to like keep the priority on yourself first, almost as like a foundation, and then everything else will kind of flow after. Well, they always say like, how can you pour into someone else when your cup is like half empty? So like pouring into yourself first. And I feel like now with the day and age of social media, like everyone's realizing that, and they're seeing like, you know, all these different things that you can do in order to make yourself feel better in whatever capacity that is. And like I feel like the whole like self-care movement is really on the rise right now. So whether that be, you know, on the external aspect or the internal aspect, like I feel like it's in your face 24/7. It is. Like what are you doing to feel good about yourself? Whereas I feel like before, back in the day, like, you know, your parents or grandparents, like they were just so used to like doing everything for everybody else, and like you know, taking care of themselves was kind of like put on the back burner. And I feel like now it's slowly switching where, you know, I'm going to take care of myself first, pour into my cup first, so that way I could help everybody else around me after. You can be a better version of yourself, which then is like really better for everybody else. It's better for your family. It's better for your business. So I think, that is one of the coolest things is to see that shift happening. And that's where we're going to get into it with our guests, where how are they making that shift, so to speak. So we're going to be like busting some myths. Because misconceptions. All like the trends that you see on social media, what actually works and what may not work. There are some crazy things out there for sure. I think it's always been that way. It's always been like, oh, I heard my friends doing this, you know, before social media. You're reading it in a magazine, whatever, you're seeing it on TV. What products big companies were marketing to you to tell you to use certain things. We didn't even know what was in them, but we were just using it. Well, I feel like now because of social media within these past several years, now everything is becoming more mainstream. Like I remember even in like 2014, 2015, like nobody really talked about like doing fillers. Like it was out there, but like some people did it. Some people were like, no, that's crazy. And like I remember even at the beginning of my career in 2017, like people weren't telling people that, oh, I got my lips done or I got fillers. And now it's like, oh my God, girl, let's go get her. Like, it's like so normalized now.
They're like showing them off on Instagram. Yeah. You have an interesting like perspective because like with 8 years, you've seen a lot of shifts. Yeah. I'm newer. I've been in this for like 2 years. So I didn't get to see that shift, although I know that it existed
amongst even like your own friend group and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
But like so far, I'm just so, I mean, personally, I'm so open about everything that like I do. And when I'm out, I just am like I just share everything with everybody.
Asks, I'm sure.
They ask.
So why don't we tell, like, okay, if you're comfortable, let's share on like different things that we've done.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay. So actually, I just had a hydrofacial yesterday. Okay. And I was talking to Ashley, our esthetician. I was like, one of the biggest things that I just haven't realized is because she was like, your pores look so good. Yeah. She's been tracking me for a year. And I was like, I have used a better skincare routine. Yeah. And that for me has been like that's a foundational thing. Like that was like literally step one.
Well, I think what people don't realize is that it's kind of like 80-20. Yeah. That 80-20 rule. Like people come in and they're like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z addressed. And they don't realize like it's not a one and done. One, a lot of times you need to do multiple sessions of whatever it is depending on your treatment plan. And two, it's 80% of it is what you're doing at home, because how often are you in
prioritizing getting like
treatments.
The medical grade skincare products, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of different brands. There's a lot of good ones. I mean, I just like that shift between using like the medical grade with the more active ingredients so you get quicker results. Like that was literally like the baby step. That was like step one. I mean, but actually it's a big deal. Like for a lot of people, they don't really want to make the shift. I literally cleared out my bathroom and I was like, I just have to focus on these 4 products. Yeah. I put them on a tray on my countertop and I was like, I'm just going to do this. Yeah. And it's like literally 3 or 4. That's it.
You know what it is?
Not complicated.
Because of social media, we're so used to like that overconsumption and like, oh, I need an 8-step skincare routine. And sometimes that just like, sometimes it works great for others and sometimes it just like puts you all out of whack and you kind of need to clear that out and be like, okay, let's get back to the basic, that 3-step, that 4-step, and let's, take care of the underlying issues.
Yeah, that plus the treatments that I've done have caused me to literally not wear foundation anymore. I wear tinted sunscreen.
Okay, I love that.
And I mean, I keep like reaching for the foundation if I have like a special event to go to. Yeah. But honestly, me and Ashley were talking about this yesterday. I was like, I don't feel like myself. I feel like I worked so hard on having this like a glowier, brighter, fresher skin that when I put that like matte foundation or whatever on myself, I don't feel like myself, and I almost like don't even like it as much.
That's
so
been a
weird shift.
I'm like a foundation girl through and through. No matter what treatments I get done, I'm like so used to just putting on foundation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not using the right one or whatever, but I'm just so addicted to the fresh, clean skin. Yes. Like feeling good in my own skin. It feels so good to just do the tinted foundation. And then just like a little blush and mascara and like the the little extras.
That fresh girl, clean girl look.
Yeah, especially for like everyday, day to day. Yeah. So that to me has been like such a cool thing. And then the treatments in the past year, things that I have done maybe like once or twice, because again, I want to try everything that like we offer in the spa. Yeah. As long as it's like right for me, right? But I also want to like spread it out because I really wanted to not just like overload in the beginning.
Of course.
But you said like kid in a candy store. Yeah. You're right. Because when we first opened, we were doing all these trainings and they needed all these like models for training. And I was like, like I want to do all this stuff. But I also, if I do it all at once, I mean, you're not supposed to do it like that anyways. But then you really can't tell what was that worked. Yeah. So that's why I love that like we put together always a treatment plan for everybody and it's like really spaced out appropriately. Of course. One thing at a time. But I've done like BBL, Moxie, those are laser, broadband light laser, skin resurfacing treatment, and then I've done for skin rejuvenation, Morpheus for like around the jaw, like jaw and like neck tightening, which I'm obsessed with that. I think it's like Kim Kardashian that like talks about that all the time. She probably does it like every 4 weeks for like the past like 10 years. I know, right? Like not a wrinkle in sight. So yeah, I love Morpheus for the neck and jaw. You can do it all over your face. You can do it on your stomach. Such a versatile treatment. And then microneedling. Like we use Skin Pen, but it's like regular microneedling. Such an easy treatment. I think it's so underrated. You do it like maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And I feel like that's like collagen boost, gets your skin like plumper, gets rid of the pores. That's like where you like don't have to wear the makeup because you're like, okay, I just feel good in my own skin. Yeah, exactly. So those are some of the things I love. Regular facials, of course, like, but those are some of the main things. Oh, I'm forgetting injectables. Yeah. Okay, see, there's so much stuff.
I know, there's so much. It's so
I'm like, oh, this is all I do. And like, I'm rambling for 5 minutes. Like, but this is all over the span of like a year and a half. Yeah. So it has been really spaced out, but wrinkle relaxers, of course. I did my like upper face. I've done my lower face a little bit. Yeah. I recently did my neck, which it was really cool. Like they like inject the bands of your neck, and that kind of gives you like a slimmer neck effect. Like I guess people were saying like the Barbie neck back then when the movie was popular, but and then some fillers, but like lightly, like maybe like a little dot on the jawline, like maybe a little dot on my cheeks. Thinking about doing my temples soon.
Just sprinkling
it around. It's like that little facial balancing where it's subtle, but you would still like, you're like, okay, that person looks good, but I don't know like what they've had done. That's like the sweet spot.
You want to hear something funny? Yeah. Wrinkle relaxers, I literally haven't done them since December 2023. Yeah. So it's been like a year and a half. Fillers I haven't done in like 2 years, and it's like crazy because
imagine like, being in a spa every single day
and you have access to all this stuff. So we have tons of trainings and
like
all
promo
of that.
product and whatever
and it's like I literally haven't done any of those. What I've been loving lately is doing skin rejuvenation treatments, so like microneedling and PRP. I've been like obsessed with those. It's been really helping with like any like old scarring and things like that on my face, and like facials. Those have been like my go-to. I've also done like some chemical peels and stuff like that, but like injectables, I haven't really done them in the last like year and a half to 2 years. So all of that to say that I feel like, people just think because it's at our disposal, we're consistently doing stuff every day. I mean, I wish we had the time to do stuff every day, but I'm really excited for what's to come and all the different people and perspectives that we're going to get to see and hear. Maite is actually going to be our first guest, and she's our physician's assistant, and you guys are going to love her. She is amazing. She's great with clients. She has so much knowledge, but I'm really excited to dive deep into her and what made her decide to get into this personally.
So I love that she is like in her 20s, building her career, like knows what she wants to do. She's super driven, super smart. It's so inspiring, like not to be like cheesy, but it's true. It's so like uplifting to be around women who are like that, who are like on their path, they're driving forward. I love to see it. Like I love to see all the trainings and things that she takes it upon herself to do. She's really passionate about helping people, and you can really tell that really like shines through. She gets like so excited with the before and afters. She loves them, to see, not only like the work that she's done, because it's kind of like it's a balance between science and art, which I'm sure she'll get into more, but it's also the smile that she like puts on people's faces,
on the clients' faces.
For sure. She just I think that's probably what drives her to really like be in this industry. At least that's what she says. And it makes sense, because that is like one of the coolest things about being in the med spa industry for sure. Like the impact that you're making on someone's
on their
self-esteem,
life.
on their life. Like everyone's like on their different journey, and everyone has a different kind of like concern or thing that they're looking to just like have a little glow up, or they have an event coming up. And that's Maite's job, to like listen and listen to what their concerns are and needs are, and like make it happen for them, which is really cool. Maite is like such a cool girl vibe also. Like I just have to say that. She is like, comes to work like smiling every day, so put together.
I know.
So smart, has so much going on in like her personal life. She's just really cool. Love that she's on the episode, the first one with us.
I'm excited to dive in.
I'd love to see how she's growing in her career, for sure.
Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're so excited to be on this journey with you. Make sure you like and comment and follow.
Follow us along the journey. We're going to be talking about so many more things that have to do with beauty, wellness, and just like health, confidence in general. And I'm so excited to see who we can get on the show next.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Pretty Please show. I'm your host, Samar, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Maite. Not only is she a physician assistant, but she's honestly one of the best injectors in the area. Maite, I'm so excited to have you. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on. I'm doing very well.
Amazing. Before we dive into everything, Maite, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself personally?
All right. So I guess the main things I can tell you guys is I'm a PA, like you said. I've always known that I wanted to go into the aesthetics field, so I really did a lot in my past to be able to get here. And now that I'm here, I am just so happy to be able to do what I love every single day. Never feels like work. And I grew up in Miami. I did all my internships here. I did all my trainings here. And now I work here. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So what got you started into getting into this industry to begin with? Like, what struck your interest? What is the path that led you here?
All right, so it's a little bit complicated in a way, but I kind of was always interested in plastic surgery to begin with. And so I went out and looked for internships to do when I was in high school for plastic surgery. And I finally got an internship. I started shadowing the surgeon. And I just loved the fact that someone would go into a surgery room looking one way and then come out looking another, and they would be so happy with the results, and they would just sometimes even cry in the rooms and just feel so good about themselves after that. It just I loved the fact that you can just change an insecurity about someone to make them feel better. So that's kind of how I got into that field. And then after one thing led to another, I was working with another plastic surgeon, and he would do injectables on clinic days when he wasn't doing surgeries. And when he started doing injectables, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's not a lot of downtime after filler. They still get such a nice difference that makes them feel better about themselves after. So I literally fell in love, couldn't stop thinking about it after. I went to PA school, did a whole bunch of rotations that also had injectors that did, aesthetics, and just dedicated like literally my whole time there to learning about aesthetics. And now here we are. That's kind of my little background into aesthetics.
I love that. That's amazing. What would you say like you're the most passionate about when it comes to this industry?
Okay, well, besides the fact that I love just seeing the difference right away and being able to see how happy the patients are, I will say my favorite thing to do is lips. So I'm passionate about like finding the best technique for lips and filler in general, but like lips are definitely my passion. And just like learning every day, getting better at the technique, and soon I will come up with my own hashtag for lips, so stay on the lookout for that.
I love that. That's so cute. Was there anything that really surprised you when you first got into the aesthetic field?
In regards to surprise, I wouldn't say something that like really struck me, but I guess just how much of a difference you actually make. I know I keep kind of repeating the same thing over, but you really do make such a difference. And I guess I knew that I would be making a difference, but I didn't know how much it would actually make the patient feel that much better. So that's been a nice surprise.
How much it would affect them.
Exactly. Just like the way that they, look in the mirror and smile after the treatment, and just like, or when they come back for their follow-up, they're like, oh my God, so many people have complimented me. Like, thank you so much. So it's just like things like that. But I have been shadowing and training with injectables for such a long time that I wouldn't say working here had me like super surprised about something new. Just mainly that little fact of how the patients feel.
And how do you feel about like the trends and always like changing? Like, as you know, with social media, like there's new trends, new treatments on the rise, new technologies like all the time. And sometimes it can be hard to like keep up. So what would you say is like a timeless trend that you've seen and that isn't really a trend, but like sort of timeless and something that you can't really go wrong with in terms of like treatments?
So I do think trends are definitely a little risky, especially those that only last like a couple months or whatever. One of them that I was like, wow, was when everyone was getting the Russian lip technique or whatever. And then that a lot of times leads to migration and then having to dissolve and everything like that. So I think with trends, when they come up, you just have to make sure you do a lot of research, make sure that you go to good providers and injectors that keep up with things and know what would be actually best for you. I don't think the Russian lip was ever a good idea, but that's just one of the main ones I can think of. In regards to treatments, I feel like my favorite is definitely Sculptra for timeless. In regards to timeless procedures, I just feel like it gives such a natural effect on the skin. It helps with skin texture. It helps with like providing that natural volume and restoring that collagen. So I think that's one of the main good trends that I see going on now is Sculptra and just very natural, timeless results.
And for those who don't know what Sculptra is, can you kind of give us like a little breakdown of what exactly is it, what is it made of, and like who is an ideal candidate for it?
Yeah, so Sculptra, I love recommending it, but it does need to be recommended to very specific patients. It is polyol lactic acid. It comes in this little vial and it's a powder that's called polyol lactic acid. That powder I mix with sterile water and then inject it underneath the skin. What that powder does once your body absorbs the water and the powder stays behind is it helps your body just produce a lot of collagen in the area where you injected it. Collagen, I think by the age of 25, you start losing like 1 to 3% or something like that of your collagen, and collagen is what helps your skin stay tight and not start to kind of like wrinkle up. You know, it's kind of inevitable, we all age and everything, but if we have something that we can help produce that collagen and kind of restore that natural volume, then I always recommend Sculptra. Usually I recommend it for patients who have a bit of volume loss in the temple area where you can see there is that volume loss. I wouldn't very much recommend it to someone who already has a lot of volume on their face, just because sometimes it can kind of add a little bit more, even though it is a very natural amount of volume. I mainly recommend it for people who have a little bit more hollowness in their face.
Okay, and it's not a filler. It doesn't have hyaluronic acid, but it just mimics the body's natural collagen production.
Exactly. That's why it gives such natural results. And, you know, I tend to lean way more towards natural results. So that's why Sculptra is so big for me. And I mean, the glow that it gives you after I inject it, you wait like a month, between a month to 3 months. They usually say 3 months is like peak results, but with my patients I've seen by 1 to 3 months is like the good range where your skin is literally glowing. It's just an amazing product. I really do love it.
Okay, amazing. Okay, let's jump into some personal stuff. So obviously you are a career woman. You've been in the industry now. How has it been like juggling personal life, relationship? I know you're newly engaged, you know, dog mom life. What is all that like? And what do you do to kind of balance it all? And what's been working for you?
So first of all, going to PA school and just doing that has been the best thing I've ever done. I was considering med school in the past, but with all the years, especially with what I was thinking, possibly plastic surgery, that would have been like my whole life pretty much is how I think about it. So PA school has just been able to give me that ability to come to work, do what I love, and then also have time for my fiance, my dog, whatever, my family, whatever it is. So it really has just been like such a blessing that I was able to like choose this field, you know, work with what I love. And then I guess my other, not advice, but like another thing that really has made a huge difference for me is I always knew that I wanted to do aesthetics before PA school and everything. So I feel like coming to work doesn't even feel like work. And I think like that's huge because I'm here and I love what I do, and I go home and I'm, you know, happy, not that stressed, and it's just great. The PA route, I couldn't recommend it enough. So if you guys ever have any questions about like how I got into PA school and any advice on that, we can also maybe do another little episode on that.
Awesome. All right. So tell me, Maite, what is one thing you truly love about like your day-to-day routine as an injector?
What I love is that there's a lot of variety. So I can come in, I'll do lip filler in the morning, my favorite. Then I'll do Morpheus after, I'll do Botox, whatever it is, it's just so much variety, and all of the treatments that I do are to make someone feel better. So it's just, that's what I love. I'm always doing something different, and it really never gets boring.
Yeah, you like mix it up all the time. You have so many different types of appointments throughout the day. So I can imagine that it doesn't get like mundane for you.
No. And then also I love the follow-up appointments because I'm able to see, you know, the results of everything. So those are sprinkled in there.
All the art you've created.
Exactly.
All right, time to hear some myths. What are some beauty myths that you've heard that drive you absolutely insane?
Okay, there's a lot of them, but definitely
there's a lot out there.
I think, a lot. But I think the main one that I've seen, at least with my patients, is they'll come in and they'll, let's say, be here for microneedling or something. And we get to talking, and then for whatever reason, they're always like, oh, I've considered filler in the past, but I am terrified. I don't want to look fake, so I'm never going to do it. And I just, honestly, every single one of them, and if they watch this episode, they know who they are. I have been able to educate them on filler does not have to look fake. Neither does Botox. You do not have to be frozen if you don't want to be with Botox. There can be natural results with both. So I think that's definitely one of the main things. And a few of them, I've actually been able to educate them, and they've decided to get the filler done, and they couldn't be happier. So it really just depends on the injector and the technique that's used, and it really doesn't ever have to look fake. A lot of them are like, wow, so many people have come up to me and they're like, you look so good, but they don't even know why. They just look good. So that's really,
they see a glow.
Exactly. So that's super important, just to like know that it doesn't always have to be that way. And that's probably the main myth that I've seen.
You know what I think it is, and I don't even blame them. It's the era of like social media. A lot of people like see things online, and like, you know, a lot of people do go overboard. So they feel like that all like aesthetics or all injectables or certain things are going to make them look like that. So I think like knowledge is power, and like help educating people that like, listen, like that's one extreme. It does not need to be that at all. If you don't want it to, there are more subtle results. There are more natural injectors. And I think it's just about finding that right like pair, you know, that right client to injector relationship, because you know some people do like that overdone, overfilled. Great, nothing wrong with that. But if that's what you're into, then amazing. Find an injector who likes those kind of results. But there are on the other spectrum people who are looking for those natural results, and there are injectors who appease to those clients as well, because they're more into the natural results as well.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's super important also, before you do anything with any injector, to look at their before and after pictures. That's like the main thing that you should do before letting anyone touch your face, because I mean, I'm not going to say it's can't happen. Obviously, there's injectors out there that can make you look a little bit unnatural, but it's super important just to be educated and make the right choice for what you're looking for with the injector.
Exactly. I think education is key. And especially now with the power of social media, a lot of people speak through their work. So clients are looking for, those pages who have their results, their before and afters. Mm-hmm. Before, I feel like it used to be a referral, word of mouth, and it still is. Like if I have a good experience, I'm going to tell other people about it. But if that injector or, that provider has like before and afters, I think that's like a true telling of like, the kind of results that you can expect to see when you go and visit them. All right, Maite, before we wrap things up, I want to play a little this or that game injector edition. So I'm going to throw out two options for you, and I want you to, just tell me the first one that you think of off the top of your head. No overthinking or anything. Just tell me like what it is that you think you prefer.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's start it off with either filler or Sculptra.
Sculptra, for sure.
Morpheus 8 or skin pen microneedling?
That's tough. Morpheus 8.
Mm-hmm. IPL or chemical peels?
Chemical peels.
No overthinking.
Sometimes. That's so hard.
No overthinking.
Chemical peels.
Facial. Okay. Chemical peels it is. Lower face facial balancing or upper face tox balancing?
Tox. Yes, definitely.
Botox or Dysport? This is going to be a controversial one.
Oof. Okay, I'll have to go, honestly, with Dysport right now.
Preventative Botox or hyper diluted radius? No overthinking.
It's impossible for me not to overthink. I would say, what were the options again?
Preventative Botox or hyperdiluted radius. That's in those areas.
Yes.
Sculptra for collagen boosting or radius for that immediate lift?
Sculptra.
Maite loves her Sculptra, guys. Okay, last one. Full facial rejuvenation approach or just a spot treatment approach?
Definitely full face. I will always try to give a full treatment plan, and if budget permits and everything, those are the best results I've had. Definitely when I'm able to do a full face approach more than just like a spot treatment.
Awesome. All right, Maite. Well, those are all the questions I had for you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate all the little nuggets and, sharing your perspective with us. I think a lot of people, value what you have to say because of like your experience and being in this field and, really kind of being able to like treat and see so many different people and hearing and listening to their feedback. You've been doing an amazing job, and hopefully we have you on future episodes.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.